Again, everybody, I'm Maddie and this is Emily. Emily's going to be my patient today. This video is just going to be a way of explaining how to do blood pressure. And since at home you don't have a stethoscope or a blood pressure cuff, which is also called a sphygmomanometer, which is a really fun word, we're just going to show you how to do it because we're not able to be there with you and give you the equipment needed.
But you guys might have this done when you go to the doctor for a checkup or if you go to the school nurse, anything like that.
So what you want to do first when you are taking a blood pressure is make sure that the person's feet are flat on the ground. You want to make sure that their knees are at 90 degrees and their feet are flat on the floor because we don't want any blood to be cut off anywhere in the body. Also, when we're going to be taking the blood pressure, Emily's going to put her hand on my arm to put her arm at her heart level. That also helps when we're taking our blood pressure as well. So I'm going to set her up really quick and then I'm going to take her blood pressure really quick. I'm also going to be talking to you while we do this. So first, we're going to put the stethoscope into our ears. The way that the stethoscope goes in is if it's making a V, the V goes towards your nose. So you want to make sure that it goes in the right way. So that's how you do the stethoscope. When you're doing the blood pressure cuff, excuse the loud Velcro, there is usually a thing in there that shows you exactly where to put it. So it's a little bit explanatory on how to put it onto somebody's arm. So I'm going to line up those arrows for where Emily's artery is, and that's usually in about the middle of her arm. I want to make sure that she doesn't have any clothes on underneath, but if somebody does need to have clothes on, make sure that it's really thin so that you're able to hear the blood pressure.
Also, when you're taking a blood pressure, normally you want to do this when the person has been sitting, resting for about 5 minutes.
Okay, so Emily is going to hold this for me just so that I can see it better. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that the stethoscope is on the big part so that I can hear through this instead of on the little part. Because for this I want to be able to hear all of that blood rushing through her artery. I'm going to put it right on where her artery goes, which is usually the crease of the elbow, closer to the side of the body. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump her up to about 160 on the little dial. And then I'm going to slowly let it out. I'm going to listen really closely for the first beat. And Emily's first beat was at 120. And her last beat was at 70. So the first beat was at 120. That means that's her systolic blood pressure. So when her heart is contracting, the pressure that's going through her vessel is a 120 millimeters of mercury, which is really interesting measurements, but that's how we measure blood pressure. And the last number is 70 millimeters of mercury, and that's when her heart is at rest. That's also called your diastolic blood pressure. You can refer to your handout that we've given you if you would like more information about how to take blood pressure.
And what those values mean as well.
Yes, thank you.